Welcome to beautiful Boise, Idaho and Bronco Stadium. Capital One Bowl Week continues with the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. It's Maryland coming out west to WAC country to meet the Nevada Wolfpack. The Terrapins, a very enigmatic team this season. They had losses to Middle Tennessee and Virginia, and also wins over 4 top 25 teams. The latest, a thriller toward the end of November. Obi Egakeza's 26-yard field goal with 1:42 left gave the Terps a 17-15 win over North Carolina. One of 4 upsets that Maryland was able to pull over ranked teams this season. And here come the Terrapins for their final game of 2008. So the Terrapins take the field, and their opponent, Nevada, in their 4th straight bowl game, and the Wolfpack into the scene with a thriller. Down 31-14 in the 3rd quarter in their regular season finale. They roared back. Vitale's 22-yard touchdown run gave Chris Ault a 35-31 come-from-behind win as they would take out their team onto the field, looking for another win here in the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. Hi again, everyone. I'm Bob Wischusen here with Brock Hewitt. Heather Cox will join us in just a moment. A beautiful setting for the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl and what we expect to be a very good matchup between 2 teams that have offensive firepower. First, we'll start, Brock, with Nevada. Obviously, Chris Ault brings a pistol offense here and a very tough quarterback to handle. This is going to be an interesting offense for us to watch today.
And it was fun to talk football with Chris Ault yesterday, a guy that's innovative and very creative. He understands his personnel here. He understands you just can't line up and beat people up within the ACC. He's dubbed this offense the pistol. It's got lots of wrinkles, but it's headed and spearheaded by a quarterback that you will enjoy watching play the game today. To me, he looks a little bit like a young Vince Young. He's 6'6", he's effortless, he's a long strider. People underestimate his athleticism and his arm. And one other area they underestimate, his smarts. 38 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 2 years as a starter. He's a terrific young football player.
When we had a chance to sit down with Ralph Friedgen as well, he bemoaned the fact that his senior class didn't give him the leadership that he was looking for throughout what has been a roller coaster season. And he may have seen that materialize again last night. A curfew violation by 7 players, 4 of which are starters, will result in this group at least not starting the game today. A couple of linebackers, and Trey Covington and Moses Foku and Danny Akendo, a wide receiver, and their star running back, Darrell Scott, among the group that last night broke the team rules.
31 seniors on this ball club. A lot of expectations in College Park coming into this season. I think that speaks volumes to exactly what Ralph Friedgen said to us yesterday and some of the disappointment with the leadership on this football team.
Heather Cox is with us as well. Heather?
Bob, Brock talked about all those Maryland seniors playing in their last game, but the big question is, could this also be the last Maryland game for junior wide receiver Darrius Heywood Bey, who, if he declares himself eligible, is considered a late first-round draft pick. Now, Darrius told me he's talked to his coaches and family about the decision, but hasn't come to a conclusion yet. When asked if he's approaching this game as his last, he said, a little deceptively, I look at it as every game could be my last. Now, guys, Darrius probably is the fastest player on the field, but keep your eye on him. He injured his left calf and knee against Florida State. He missed the BC game. Now, he will play today, but isn't considered full strength.
Nevada won the toss. They deferred their choice to the second half, so Maryland will receive the opening kickoff, and Torrey Smith, who is a very dangerous return man, a redshirt freshman with 990 return yards this season. A short hop, though, to one of the up men, Kenny Tate, and Tate gets to the sideline. And pretty good field position for Maryland to begin at their own 34-yard line. Chris Turner, the junior from Simi Valley, California, who comes all the way across the country to play at Maryland. And this season, 3rd in the ACC, averaging just under 200 yards passing per game. And he has been a quarterback that has risen to the occasion, Brock, in the big games. He's 5-1 as a starter against ranked teams. And this season, Maryland was 4-1 against ranked teams.
Streaky, but when he is hot, and he's going to have opportunities to get hot today, a lot of one-on-one matchups. When he is in a rhythm, he's awfully good.
An empty set on first down, and a hot receiver over the middle. The catch made by Torrey Smith, and he picks up about 7 yards on first down as we take a look at Maryland's impact player.
And it starts with who we talked about in that opening. Darrius Heywood Bey, not only the 2,000 yards receiving this year, the third leading rusher over 200 yards on the ground. Jeremy Navarre, very strong, stout, 285-pound defensive end. Going to be tough to handle. And their punter, Travis Baltz, an all-ACC performer. Watch field position today, and he will play a big role in that.
Play action on 2nd down and 3. Looking for the home run is Turner down the sideline, incomplete, as he overthrew the redshirt freshman Torrey Smith. So it will now be 3rd down and 3. Chris Turner is coming off of a career game in the regular season finale, a loss to Boston College. It was a touchdown difference, but he was magnificent in that game. 33 of 57 for 360 yards, all 3 of those career highs. He threw for a couple of scores as well. The touchdown to interception ratio, though, not what Ralph Friedgen would like to see. Maryland picks up the blitz on 3rd down. There's a catch in the open, Adrian Cannon. He'll go the distance. Touchdown, Terrapins to start.
Chris Alt was very blunt with us yesterday, Bob, the Nevada head coach. He said, my biggest disappointment this year is the big plays we've given up defensively, and we continue to make the same errors. That time, Nigel Burton, defensive coordinator for Boise State, he dials up the corner blitz. He brings the corner from the boundary. Maryland picks it up. When you have that much time versus a corner blitz, you have one-on-one matchups. Too much speed, too much Maryland early in the first quarter.
Egekeza misses the extra point. So Maryland with only a 6-0 lead. Let's go back to the touchdown. This is the 3rd reception of the season for Adrian Cannon, and it goes all the way.
And there you do see that corner come off. Adrian Cannon, the guy that coaches told us was going to play a lot more today, much bigger role. And Adrian Cannon, the redshirt sophomore there, does a nice job versus man-to-man coverage of working away from the coverage, using those hands to snatch the football. And as I said earlier, when you blitz, and especially when you bring corners and those secondary defenders in blitzes, it leaves a lot, in this case, of blue turf for those receivers to run. Adrian Cannon capitalizing early with a huge play for Maryland. And it's the big plays, Bob. That has been the Achilles heel, really added up with those yardage numbers. Huge plays you've given up defensively.
Out to the 24-yard line goes Khalid Wooten, or Brandon Fragger, pardon me. So pretty good field position for Nevada. Here are their impact players.
And you're going to see the skill position guys a lot today. You won't see Dominic Green in the picture too much, but he will wear down Maryland. His nastiness, his aggressiveness sets the tempo for this offense. And on the other side, defensively, Kevin Bassett, he's 6'6", he's 240 pounds. He is a difference maker in the passing game. You see there, 10 sacks led the WAC. And Brett Jekyll, their kicker, will also act as their punter due to injury. He has been nothing but spectacular in his 4 years in Reno.
And our first chance to take a look at the pistol offense with Colin Kaepernick, only a sophomore, but the WAC Offensive Player of the Year. At quarterback, he had a magnificent season. Only the 5th player in NCAA history to pass for 2,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards in the same season. Itawa goes up the middle, not much there. Maybe a yard. Travis Ivey brought him down. But Brock, what makes him so good running this particular offense?
I think part of it is his size, but more than anything, it is his smarts, Bob. When you are a redshirt freshman and now a sophomore this year, you have that touchdown to interception ratio of 38-8. That tells you something about a football IQ. He sees the big picture. He sees what's going on defensively. Just a very bright kid coupled with tremendous athleticism.
Kaepernick, play action. Looking for the deep ball for Mitchell. He's got it. Marco Mitchell down to the 2-yard line, tripped up. Anthony Wiseman prevented a touchdown, at least for now.
We're going to see a lot of Colin Kaepernick's legs today. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards this football season, 16 touchdowns. But people are also going to appreciate his arm strength. Chris Ault told us he throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got as much arm as anyone we've ever had in this program. That ball was about 55 yards down the field to their explosive big play wideout Marco Mitchell. Great throw, great catch, way to match the momentum that Maryland gained themselves offensively with their big plays.
1st and goal at the 3. Kaepernick will bootleg. Flips it into the end zone. Wide open and easy touchdown to Chris Wellington. Colin Kaepernick now with 20 touchdown passes against only 5 interceptions this season.
Been very good in the play action game. Again, you will see that today. Does a nice job of hiding the ball. One of the strengths within this pistol system is that play action pass. Awfully difficult at the 1-yard line at times to stop that. That on the board, and this time they make the PAT.
That's the 59th consecutive point after made this year by Brett Jekyll. Chris Ault's pistol offense gets the job done. Colin Kaepernick this season has now run for 16 scores and thrown for 20, and Nevada's got the lead. It was a cold day yesterday at the Boise stage stop, one of over 400 Roadies truck stops throughout the nation. And the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl off to a good start between Nevada and Maryland. Each team trading touchdowns. Maryland misses the point after, so they trail by a point. So we're just shy of the midway point of the 1st quarter. It has been 2 drives that have featured big plays. Marco Mitchell with a 68-yard reception to set up the touchdown a moment ago.
Marco Mitchell, a guy that Todd McShay, our NFL draft guru at ESPN, says watch out for him. There's a lot of talk of Darrius Heywood Bey, but Marco Mitchell, he also has some size and athleticism. Projects him as a 4th to 5th rounder.
There goes Torrey Smith, the redshirt freshman, down the sideline. Smith to the 20, turns on the Jets and goes all the way. No flags. A 99-yard touchdown return.
Well, Torrey Smith has done that this season, Bob. He owns Maryland's career or season record in kickoff returns, nearly 1,000 yards. He's breaking that 1,000-yard barrier with that 100-yard return.
He is now the ACC single-season record holder for most kickoff return yards in a year. The point after is tacked on by Egekeza. And Maryland now with a touchdown lead. 1,080 kickoff return yards this year for Torrey Smith.
Many times on a football field, there are 22 players, but it comes down to mano-a-mano, man-on-man matchups, and you're going to see Brian Flood right there, number 84 for Nevada. That battle, he has got to win. He's got to at least slow Torrey Smith down. But credit Torrey Smith. That's why he has over 1,000 kickoff return yards this season.
Wow, I'm not sure if that was a purposeful onside kick. It didn't work. Inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line goes Andy McIntosh. You think Egekeza tried a surprise onside kick? It almost looked like he tried to kick it deep and missed. Take a look at the ball. Does it fall off the tee as Egekeza tries to kick it? Sure it does. The ball's falling off the tee as Egekeza kicks it right to Andy McIntosh, and he returns it to the 9-yard line. I have never seen that before.
Wow.
Boy, the special teams make a difference. Egekeza has missed a point after. Maryland has scored a touchdown with a kickoff return. And now a fluke play on special teams gives the ball to Nevada at the 9-yard line.
And in that case, I'm surprised a bit that the kicker would not have recognized that ball move. He's zeroing in on that ball like a golf ball. If that ball, your ball is moving in your golf swing, you're going to step back from it. Obi there does not step back. Critical error.
Kaepernick looks to throw. Back of the end zone. Intercepted. Picked off by Kenny Tate. And Maryland will get the football back at the 20-yard line.
And you see some frustration there out of Colin Kaepernick. Plenty of time. That pistol, one of the advantages Chris Ault said, is it gets his quarterback out on the edge in the play-action game that much quicker. And here you're going to see Colin Kaepernick has plenty of time. He gets outside of that box very well. He scans the field. But anytime you're that late over the middle of the field, you lose your sense of vision. I think there Colin would obviously want that one back. His fundamentals fell apart as he's lunging through that throw. When there's that blue turf in front of him, he's got to use those legs he has and put some pressure on Maryland with his feet.
Only the 6th interception this season for Colin Kaepernick. Maryland's got it back. David Meggett gets to the outside. And he's got a first down. The son of David Meggett, who was a scat back for the Giants in the glory days of his career and won a Super Bowl ring.
I don't remember David Meggett looking quite like that. David Meggett's about 210 pounds. And as you see there, the lower half of his body is very powerful, very strong, a fullback in some sense, and a tailback body. His dad, Dave, was a great scat back, a great third down back, played 10 years in the NFL for Bill Parcells. Many different stops, a great player, and his son's had a terrific freshman year.
Turner to the outside, breaking a tackle is Williams, and then pays for it. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
One of the things that David Meggett does well, and possibly because he watched his dad growing up play a lot of football, he is a true freshman. You're going to see a lot of redshirt freshmen on the field today. Not many true freshmen right out of high school. There, he does a great job in pass protection. Oftentimes, you can get a fabulous athlete that is a true freshman that can get on the field and make plays, but it's the details within the game. That time, David does a great job. Boise State bringing that corner blitz. He realizes it. He picks it up. And he gives his quarterback an opportunity to make a throw.
Darrius Heywood Bey, the big weapon at the bottom of your screen. He's been quiet so far, and this ball tipped by the linebacker, Jerome Johnson. So Maryland will have to punt from midfield.
Good protection that time for Chris Turner. You see the eyes there, the middle linebacker, Jerome Johnson, a terrific athlete. His brother, you're going to see him tonight in the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, Jeremiah Johnson, a very talented running back at Oregon. Jerome gifted himself, does a nice job with his eyes, reading the play, knocking it down on 3rd down.
Great punt by Baltz. Kills it inside the 5-yard line, and Maryland does keep it out of the end zone. Nevada will have to start from inside their own 4. Andrew Schmidt all the way downfield after the long snapper delivers the ball to the punter. How about the long snapper getting downfield and downing it, keeping it out of the end zone? Look at 31 hustling downfield.
One of our impact players today was that punter. Ooh, that's awfully close there. Did that ball break any part of the plane of that goal line? I don't know if you're going to see it here, but Travis Baltz has had a terrific sophomore year for Maryland. You can't see from there. You hear some of the faithful for Nevada. They felt like that ball crossed the goal line. We can take a look here.
After review, the ball did break the plane of the end zone. It is a touchback. First down, 20-yard line.
So again, special teams there could have created a huge momentum shifting turn of field position, but replay helps out Nevada and they get a touchback. So Kaepernick, a pick on his last possession, now starts at his own 20. Trailing by 6. Wants to keep it himself. Nothing there. What a good job this defensive front has done so far for Maryland. Jeremy Navarre and Olugbemi Odolaja combined on the stop.
And what a nice play there by Jeremy Navarre. He's a little unique for a college football end at 285 pounds. And you see the strength there on the edge, just too much strength, pushing those offensive linemen for Nevada in the backfield, giving Colin Kaepernick no lane to run. A very big physical kid at that end position.
They set up a middle screen to Art King Jr. He's got a first down out to the 35.
A nice little wrinkle there. That's just an inside screen that Nevada runs. One thing you will see with the Wolfpack today, a lot of different numbers catching the football. Art King, Chris Wellington, Mike McCoy, Marco Mitchell. They get everybody involved within this scheme and system. One of the components of the pistol is some of that flexibility you have with your personnel. Nice job there moving the chains.
Another play action fake by Kaepernick. Goes to the same place. This time makes a connection with Mike McCoy. Another first down for Nevada.
That's a little better timing within that play. We talked about that end zone breaking down. There was too much time for Colin Kaepernick to think there that with the play action pass again gets outside of the pocket really quickly, delivers that comeback on time, and continues to have the balance Nevada does in possessing the ball and moving these chains.
We haven't really even seen Kaepernick flash his ball carrying skills yet. He's as dangerous a runner as he is a thrower. This time a handoff, a dive up the middle for 3 yards. Jeremy Navarre there to stop Vitawa. It'll be 2nd down and 7, but Kaepernick came into today at least among ball carriers this season with 150 or more carries on the year. 2nd in America in yards per carry, averages 7.3 yards per run. Only Javid Best of Cal averaged more this season. Again, the give up the middle, and again, Tawa is stuffed at the line. Dave Philistine made the stop. It'll be 3rd down and long.
It's one of the opportunities there where Colin's going to read. He's going to read the activity that's going on within the middle of that line. I think he had an opportunity there to tuck this ball back in and keep it himself. Maryland's a very physical front. Very big, strong kids. 280 pound at their ends, 310 in the middle of their defensive line. A little different than a lot of the teams that Nevada will face in the WAC.
Kaepernick well protected on 3rd and 8. Tucks it under and tries to run for it. He's got a first down all the way down to the 16-yard line. That's the best run play we've seen so far for Nevada, and it came out of a broken passing play.
And a nice job down the field by Marco Mitchell, the receiver, creating even more of a lane for his quarterback. But here you start to see some of that stride. He's fairly effortless in his athleticism. He is 6'6". He's very long stride. There you see Marco Mitchell in the bottom of the screen doing a great job here against Anthony Wiseman. Big physical receiver. You like to see that with your quarterback running. Very deceptive in his speed is Colin Kaepernick.
Tawa this time has a lane. He'll go to the end zone with a touchdown. By Tawa's 15th rushing touchdown of the season.
One of our impact players earlier, Bob, was their center, Dominic Green, a 3-time all-WAC performer. Vitawa, Colin Kaepernick, they get the stats, they get the record books. Dominic Green at center, Virgil Green at tight end, Marco Mitchell at receiver blocking. Those guys set up those skill positions for the big plays they made this season.
Nichols' point after is good. Nevada had 7 yards rushing on their first 6 carries before those last 2 carries, where Kaepernick and Tawa combined for 37 yards, and Tawa caps it with the touchdown. And Nevada has the lead back. 1 point separates Nevada and Maryland as we're inside of the final minute of the first quarter of the Rhodes Humanitarian Bowl here in Boise. And Brock, a rushing touchdown, an impressive back-to-back pair of runs for a Nevada Wolfpack team that is number 2 in America running the football. And the kickoff, a squibber that's brought out to the 43-yard line by Dan Gronkowski, the tight end for Maryland. A 3-yard carry from Morgan Green. Mundre Clifton and Nate Aguiava combined on the stop for Nevada. Nevada's rushing game, as we said, their first 6 carries a little over a yard per carry. The last couple of carries, nearly 40 yards and a touchdown at the back end.
And it helps to have the balance within the passing game. There are systems, and this is one of them, where at times the pass will set up the run when they can get those guys off of their heels defensively. And they did that, completing a few passes. That opens up those run lanes, get those linemen to the second level.
And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. And a wild first quarter it was. A return touchdown, a missed extra point, a muffed potential onside kick that was returned down to the 9-yard line by Nevada, to be followed by an end zone interception thrown by their star quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. We've seen it all here in the first quarter of the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. Maryland and Nevada separated by only a point. What a beautiful setting for the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl here in Boise. The foothills of the Rocky Mountains brings us to the second quarter here during Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN. And out near midfield, Maryland, to start the second quarter, Morgan Green breaks it to the sideline. The sophomore in the open. Touchdown. Already our fourth lead change in the first 15 minutes and 10 seconds of the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. We saw 27 points, 270 yards of total offense, 182 return yards in the first quarter alone. We start the second quarter with a long touchdown run by Morgan Green. And it's a 6-point lead for Maryland. They're back on top.
And defensively, the one thing you don't want to do is play on your heels. And you're going to see a couple defenders for Nevada. You're going to see Mike Bethea there, 36. You're also going to see Uche Anyanwu, the free safety there, who happens to be their leading tackler, number 17. He freezes. Morgan Green is a 4'4", very athletic young guy. They wanted to get on the football field today. This has been a time for the young Terrapins to get some great opportunities. That's what bowl games present. These young guys get their chance to shine.
And you saw Darrell Scott, first team All-ACC running back, who was suspended at least for the start of today's game and has yet to play. Part of a 7-player group that broke curfew last night. So they haven't missed some of their weapons. As Fragger brings it out to about the 18-yard line. Tawa. Not much there. Maybe a yard. Big stories coming up on our halftime report. The biggest of which certainly that Mike Shanahan is now out of a job. Deep ball thrown to the sideline, bobbled and incomplete. Kaepernick tried to squeeze it into Arthur King. And Kaepernick is clearly favoring that ankle that got trapped under Alex Wojak 2 possessions ago on the 3rd down sack. Always a tough Monday, though, isn't it, Brock, in the NFL, the day after the regular season ends. We see Mike Shanahan a couple of days later now out of a job. But Eric Mangini fired by the Jets. Romeo Crennel let go by the Browns, as expected, I guess. Mike Holmgren is going to take a year off, but he left Seattle. Tawa brought down behind the line. And you have to think Maryland's going to spend a timeout now with 37 seconds to go in the half, and they will. So still 2 timeouts left for Maryland, and they will most likely begin yet another possession in plus territory.
And this pistol offense is going to have to rearrange itself at halftime. Chris Ault and his staff offensively have got to figure out whether Colin Kaepernick at 50% and limited with his legs is better than the backup Nick Graziano, who they feel good about. A kid that started games last year, was in a competition in preseason with Colin Kaepernick. There will be some discussion there. You see Graziano there. There will be some discussion at halftime, because right now Colin Kaepernick, this limited physically, really limits what Chris Ault wants to do within this system.
Again, Jekyll from his goal line, set to punt.
I like the 2 Bruces who played in that game to tell us why it was shifted to Durham. At halftime, we'll have that answer for you, I am sure.
Maryland comes after Jekyll, and he angles one away. A good kick. Tony Logan from his own 38-yard line. Walloped at the 47. What a hit by Mike McCoy. And in on the hit as well was Kevin Baspet. Ouch.
Yeah, I think you're going to contribute that. Listen to this. That is 6'6", 245-pound defensive end. Kevin Baspet on punt coverage there. Fabulous athlete. He's not made his presence known in pass rush, but certainly does there in the punt return game.
Ronnie Tyler gets out of bounds, and a flag comes out. An 8-yard gain could become much more if Tyler was ruled to have been hit out of bounds.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 24 on defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's actually, I think, going to be on number 25. Mo Harvey coming in late here. And clearly out of bounds. That's a junior college transfer, Mo Harvey, who's played a fair amount of football this year for Nevada. But when an offense is struggling like Maryland has these last 2 possessions, you certainly don't want to give them any gimme yards. You just gave away 15 with that penalty.
A little flip into the flat, dropped by Meggett. A forward pass clearly, so the officials blow it dead. As Brandon Marshall tried to pick it up and head the other way. Still 2 timeouts for Maryland and 21 seconds. But that extra 15 yards brings them probably 1 play away from very reasonable field goal range. Turner's been pretty good here in the first half. 8 of 15 for 128 yards and a touchdown. Coming off of a regular season finale performance against Boston College, where he was 33 of 57 for 360 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he can light it up when he gets hot. Threw that one behind Lansford Watson, his tight end. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
Nevada's doing a nice job defensively, Bob, of just mixing in enough blitzes. I think they've been burned a couple times with that blitz in this first half. So Nigel Burton and his staff being very careful within that blitz scheme. But this is a big 3rd and 10. A blitz here may knock them out of field position, but it also may give up the big play. Big call here defensively for Nevada.
Turner well protected as a man, bobbled and caught. Ronnie Tyler, first down. Out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
You do have the 2 timeouts with 12 seconds, more than likely 1 shot here at the end zone. But with the 2 timeouts, you're not limited within your playbook. Everything is open here. You may have time for 2, but I believe this throw has got to go into the end zone. Nevada plays a lot of man-to-man defense in the red zone, a little different than other programs around the country. See if Maryland can take advantage of a man-on-man situation.
There's the throw into the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. Ronnie Tyler does it again. And it's a 2-score lead for the Terps. Well, sooner or later, I guess if you continue to give an offense field position, it's going to burn you.
And sooner or later, when you get athletic young guys onto the football field that are hungry to make plays, you've seen it from Torrey Smith, you've seen it from David Meggett, now you see it from fellow redshirt freshman Ronnie Tyler. He does a nice job at the top of his route there of beating the safety, using his body, putting his frame between he and the football. Big touchdown there. The first of his career for Ronnie Tyler.
And now Ralph Friedgen is going to chase the point. They're going to go for 2 to try and make it a 14-point lead. Design rollout for Turner. Wide open. There's the 2-pointer. David Meggett. And it is a 14-point lead. 28-14 now. Maryland on top. 28-14. the lead at the half for Maryland, and that's certainly the big concern for Chris Ault. His quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, shaken up here in the first half, nursing at least what you have to think is a mildly sprained ankle, down by 2 touchdowns at the break. And the head coach of Nevada is with Heather.
Thanks so much, Bob. Coach, 3 of Maryland 4 touchdowns were explosive plays of 50 yards or more. Defensively, how do you eliminate that big play?
Well, you got to make the tackles, you know, and the kick, the return on the kick. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And you know, our offense didn't help us the last 3 series. We were out. We didn't get first downs. You know, we've got to keep the D off the field and move the ball. So it's a combination of both things, but those explosive plays should not be happening. They can't happen. Coach,
right before you joined me, your sports medicine staff was talking to you. Your quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, definitely a ginger ankle. How will that affect the way you call your offense?
Well, we'll see. You know, if he can't run, then we're going to whoop Graziano in. We got to see where that's at. It's a sprained ankle. You know how bad it is, I don't know yet, but it's affected him the last couple series.
Thank you.
All right, Heather, thanks very much. So it's halftime at the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. A 2-touchdown lead for Maryland. Now let's join Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May in our studios. It's the Flomax halftime report. Reese? Welcome back to the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl here in beautiful Boise, Idaho. Bob Wischusen and Brock Ewert. Heather Cox with us as well. Our score at halftime, a 2-touchdown lead for Maryland over Nevada. Nevada has injury concerns that we'll get to in a moment with their star quarterback. But Brock, when we think about that first half for Maryland, Ralph Regent said that his team, they've been hit and miss so far this season in terms of their consistency. Their offense, though, was a big play group in the first half.
Yeah, to average 20 points a game and to put 28 up on the board in the first half, you know the Fridge was excited about that execution, and a lot of it were young guys making big, explosive plays. Adrian Cannon got it started. Nevada blitzed. He made them pay, and Torrey Smith on the kickoff. Just speed here. A missed tackle, 1 missed tackle, and he's gone, and Morgan Green finished it out. So big plays. You heard Chris Ault going into halftime say it's inexcusable to give up those kind of big plays defensively, but Maryland has to tip their hat to one another and like that kind of production in the first half.
Well, Chris Ault also told us going into halftime that they were going to have to investigate the health of their star quarterback. Colin Kaepernick turned his ankle when he was sacked a few possessions into the second half, or into the second quarter rather, by Alex Wojak. He did come on to complete the rest of the first half and play a few more possessions. There's a look on Colin Kaepernick live, but Nick Graziano, the backup quarterback, was warming up.
And the question will really become, how effective can he be running the ball? Chris Ault was very specific, and he said if he cannot run and use his legs, we are not afraid to go to the backup.
We'll see early if Kaepernick is going to be effective in the second half, because Nevada won the opening coin toss and deferred their option to the second half. So they'll begin the second half with the football. A few yards deep. Brandon Frager brings it out. Not a good decision. Only gets out to the 16-yard line as we check in with Heather.
Guys, some notes from both locker rooms. I talked to Coach Friedgen about those 7 suspended players, sorry, it's cold down here, and asked when we would see Darrell Scott, and he said, I cleared him to play in the first quarter. James Franklin made the decision not to play him. We might see him in the second half. As far as the balance offensively that they're looking for, he said, I'm very satisfied with it. Sure, I'd like to run more, but nobody's run well against Nevada. Now, speaking of Nevada, the quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, is definitely in a tremendous amount of pain. They assessed him throughout halftime. He is going to try to go, as he does take the field right now, but I've been told Nick Graziano is ready. He started 5 games a year ago and can fill in for Kaepernick if need be.
Well, Nick Graziano, Heather, was kind of like Wally Pipp. He began last season as the starting quarterback, and Kaepernick fires a strike. His first pass of the second half is good for 11 yards and a first down. Graziano was hurt in week 5 of last year. Kaepernick came on at that point, took over. He has never surrendered the starting quarterback position since. His team puts up 206 total yards in the first half, but those 3 sacks were big, Brock, because one of them resulted in the injury.
And the 3 50-plus yard plays were also very big, all touchdowns for Maryland. They've been lacking in the explosive plays. They certainly got it in the first 30 minutes of this game.
Running room for Tawa, and he picks up 5 yards.
One of the keys early in this game, I talked about staying on schedule. Ralph Friedgen was very, very honest and said we have to get them off schedule. We have to get them into third down situations where we can pressure him and get after Kaepernick. They did that in the first half. Chris Ault, his staff, They have got to get back to some of those early down runs and having success on first and second down.
Kaepernick wants a middle screen, and Maryland reads it beautifully. A loss of a yard as Chris Wellington brought down at the 30 by Alex Wojak.
What a great first half he had. He hit Kaepernick a number of times. 121 tackles coming into this game. He's a very heady, very intelligent player. His defensive coordinator said he's blue collar. There you see him read the play. He had a zone drop, but he read his keys. He saw the flow of the screen pass coming into him. He reacted, and as he's done all year, he brings tacklers to the ground.
He's got 9 tackles today. Kaepernick wants the deep ball, overthrows his man, and it's almost intercepted. Marco Mitchell was wide open, and the ball floated over his head. Anthony Wiseman almost picked it off.
And there's a case of some of the fundamentals in a 3rd and 7 situation. And the fundamentals of Kaepernick falter just a little bit. The arm drops down and that ball sails on me. He had Marco Mitchell open within the seam of that zone defense. But when you get banged up, when your ankle hurts, when you get sacked, when you take body blows and shots, hard to stay crisp in your fundamentals. There, Kaepernick's fundamentals falter and the throw goes awry.
Wobbly kick. And the return, Tony Logan broke a tackle and a good return out to the 46-yard line. So Maryland offensively with pretty good field position at their own 36, and it looks like Darrell Scott is going to be on the field for the first time this afternoon. The first team All-ACC tailback has yet to play today, but midway through the 3rd quarter, he now gets his chance. Play action, though, for Turner. Fires one deep. It's tipped and almost intercepted. Off the fingertips of Smith. Jonathan Amaya had a chance at a pick.
That's one way to kickstart your offense when you're frustrated, as Ralph Friedgen was, to take a shot down the field. They've run on early downs in the second half. 1st down run, 2nd down run, 3rd down pass. Here they make a decision to come out, and that's just a foot high. You'd like to see Torrey Smith lay out, possibly go up with 2 hands and attack that football. But Chris Turner's got to sharpen up a little bit his precision and accuracy to get the ball moving for Maryland.
Again to the air, Turner. Catch is made for a 4-yard gain by Amani Leodai, just shy of the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Showed the stats there earlier of the 3rd down passing of Chris Turner. He was 3 of 8, now just 3 for 10. Just 30% on the day today. Again, an offense that has struggled this year to be consistent. They've had flashes. You've seen flashes of greatness today, but to be a consistent offense and efficient, you got to find a way to convert 3rd downs.
High and intercepted. This time Amaya's there, picks it off, and down the sideline with a blocker out in front, all the way down to the 21-yard line. Jonathan Amaya picks it off. And this could be the turning point that Nevada needs to get themselves back in the game.
Jonathan Amaya, the quarterback of the secondary. He's really grown in his leadership this year. The former walk-on, a true junior. Ralph Friedgen yelling there at Chris Turner. The way you're playing defense, the last thing you want to do is that. Give an offense a chance, give them a short field, but credit Jonathan Amaya, the free safety there, using his hands on the overthrow, providing a little spark that's got the sidelines, it's got the Nevada faithful up and on their feet, and now can they take advantage of some great field position?
And for the folks back in Reno, Colin Kaepernick is back in at quarterback. He'll throw. McCoy couldn't hang on at the 8-yard line. Anthony Wiseman cut his legs out from under him. But that was a catchable ball for Mike McCoy. Although it has to be good for the folks back in Reno to see the WAC Offensive Player of the Year take 1 series off.
That was a catchable ball. That ball also sailed just a little bit. And Mike McCoy lets this ball get to him. He does not go to the football. He allows that ball to get to his shoulder pads, does not trust his hands. This offense has not been out of rhythm like this season.
Kaepernick again in the pistol. 2nd down and 10. Nice move at the line by Tawa. Down to about the 17-yard line. So it will be 3rd down and medium. Adrian Moten made the stop. You'd have to think, Brock, just from a momentum standpoint, this is a vitally important drive for Nevada. To have to settle for only a field goal off that interception, down by 2 touchdowns. And that's what they're looking at without a conversion here.
It's obviously a pass play, as Colin signaling the route combinations he wants to the field.
Kaepernick buying time. Flips it towards the end zone. Touchdown. Vitala gets loose in the back of the end zone. And that little bit of extra time that Kaepernick bought freed him up.
And Adrian Moten, we saw him earlier as a pass rusher, probably his strength, getting after the quarterback, not in coverage. He loses Vitala there in coverage just long enough. And credit the guts of Colin Kaepernick to come back in this game. He watched his backup throw 2 balls into the ground, and he said, enough's enough. I'm going to swallow this pain. I'm going to make some plays, and we're going to go after, try to win this bowl game with my arm.
So Kaepernick's 21st touchdown pass of the season. And we've got a game again, the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl, with Nevada turning the Amaya interception into 7. And it's a 7-point game. We've got a good Humanitarian Bowl this season. 28-21 after the touchdown catch by Vitala a moment ago. Maryland about to get the football back, but it's now a 1-possession game. And a short kick. And that looked intentionally short, taken by Morgan Green. Fumbled the ball and was able to jump back on top at the 27-yard line. For Maryland, Dave Salazzo, also the recruiting coordinator. I'm not sure that this was the speech he gave any of these guys on their recruiting trip. Darrell Scott gets loose down the sideline out to the 42-yard line. A 1st down, a gain of 14.
Heather talked earlier about Darrell Scott needing just 41 yards to break that 1,000-yard barrier. And really his first opportunity today. You see the big fellas pull out in front. Phil Costa does a great job of keeping his eyes up. And Darrell Scott, probably the most explosive back on this roster. They feel like if they can get him into space, he can make things happen. He's done so this year.
Well, nothing has really happened, as you saw so far in the second half of the Maryland offense. But they're out close to midfield with a 1st down. They go to the workhorse, Scott again, and he busts it once again. Close to another 1st down. I think he does indeed have a 1st down at the 47-yard line of Nevada.
A nice job by the fullback there, number 38, Corey Jackson. So not just the big guys up front that you see pulling, but watch the fullback get out in front and lead the way. This is Terrapin football. When Ralph Friedgen was screaming at his team, this is not the way we play football. This is not Maryland football. They want to establish the line of scrimmage. They're doing so on this drive.
And redemption, at least for now, for Maryland's offense, as Darrius Heywood Bey makes a 1st down catch.
That's the challenge when you're playing young people defensively. And Nigel Burton said, and Chris Ault said, when you play young guys, it's a little bit like raising kids. They've got to learn through experience, learn through those failures. Chris Ault's frustration this season is they haven't learned enough. They haven't turned the page and made those corrections. James Michael Johnson there, an opportunity and a chance gone awry with his fumble.
Scott stays in bounds and picks up an extra couple of yards. Marked out just inside the 28-yard line of Nevada for a gain of nearly 7.
That was the one element as a staff. You look at the rush defense for Nevada. The Maryland felt like they really haven't been tested. They've played a lot of teams in the WAC that pitch and catch and throw the football all over the field. They played Texas Tech. They played Missouri in their non-conference schedule. They really felt like they hadn't seen a power football team. They wanted to try to establish that line of scrimmage, and no better chance to establish it than wear down in late in the third and fourth quarter.
Turner tries to throw the ball back, and that's ruled, I think, a sideways pass and a fumble. The officials on the field will rule that is Nevada football. Dante Moak was able to knock down Turner as he was trying to set up a backside screen, and that forced the ball to travel at least sideways, if not backwards. Nate Aguiava recovered the fumble. So after all is said and done, Nevada does get the turnover.
You see the frustration there. You're pounding the football. You decide to get a little bit cute offensively. You run that throwback screen pass, but too much speed for Nevada. They get into Chris Turner before he's able to really deliver this football. And Dante Moak and company, these defensive ends have done this all season long. I don't know why you go away from what's working.
And Kaepernick is in at quarterback again. Blitz comes off the edge. He doesn't see it. That ball spiked into the ground. That might be ruled a fumble. No, they'll say his arm was coming forward, and that's an incomplete pass. Oh, the Maryland sideline wants the same ruling that the Nevada sideline just got.
That's a corner blitz by Nolan Carroll to the boundary. No receiver threatening there. Nolan Carroll coming from a long ways away.
That's a good call.
That is a good call.
Play action for Kaepernick. Wants the home run ball down the sideline. Makes the connection. Mike McCoy inside the 30, out of bounds at the 26-yard line of Maryland.
And that's Colin's best throw of the day. Rolling to his left, the play action pass away from his arm. He delivers that ball on the line deep down the field. A hole shot here. The ball a little bit loose on the spiral. But that is an arm strength throw. When you can make that throw 40 yards down the field before that safety can come out of center field, credit the arm strength there, Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick gives for Tawa. Down at the 20-yard line. A gain of close to 8 on first down as we go downstairs and check in with Heather.
Well, Bob, before taking the field, Colin Kaepernick was a man on an island on this Nevada sideline. The entire time the defense was on the field, Colin paced up and down, grimacing, and everyone gave him wide clearance. Not one person, not a teammate, not a trainer, not a coach came up to him, and Colin didn't stop moving. Now, don't forget, it's very cold down here, and I get the impression with that sprained ankle that Colin doesn't want to sit down, doesn't want to stop the adrenaline from flowing, get any swelling to creep into that ankle. So he has been in constant motion, and so far it's paid off on this drive.
Well, Heather, he has his team positioned to potentially tie the game to start the fourth quarter. 3 quarters down, 15 minutes to go. In the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl, Nevada and Maryland have played a back-and-forth affair. And Nevada down by a touchdown in the red zone to start the fourth quarter when we come back to Boise. Welcome back to the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl as we start the fourth quarter. 28-21, Maryland has the lead over Nevada, but Nevada is driving. And Colin Kaepernick, the WAC Offensive Player of the Year, only the 5th player in NCAA history to pass for 2,000 or more yards and rush for 1,000 or more yards in the same year. And he fumbles the snap and handoff between Tawa. And Nevada is lucky to jump on top of that one. They wasted down, though. Now it's 3rd down and short.
That's going to be one of their read option plays. We have not seen a lot of that today, especially since he hurt that ankle. He's got to ride Tawa just a little bit more, put that in his belly. A little bit surprised with that call, as much as Kaepernick's been limping around here after the injury.
Huge play on 3rd down and a long 4. Maryland shows blitz. Here they come. Kaepernick to the outside, beats the blitz to Marco Mitchell. Touchdown!
It's amazing at times, Bob, as a quarterback, when you come off the sidelines, and for Colin to watch his backup come in for a series, throw a couple balls into the ground, you've seen a different Colin Kaepernick since he's come back. He's been assertive, he's been strong, there's no hesitancy, he plants his foot, he delivers, and he delivers Nevada right back into this football game.
Well, he took a one-drive break and has been nearly perfect since. The game now tied at 28. This is our third tie to go along with 4 lead changes. Torrey Smith will let this one sail out of the back of the end zone. Darrell Scott for 2 yards. Play action. Turner fires to the sideline, wide of Heywood Bey and incomplete.
One thing that Jeremy Navarre said to us yesterday, the defensive end for Maryland, he said one of the challenges and one of the inconsistencies we've had as a team this year is we probably feed off of each other too much. When the offense is struggling, we struggle. When the defense is struggling, the offense doesn't respond, and you've really seen that in the second half today. You've seen a defense respond to an offense that struggled. They've given up 2 touchdowns. And now when Maryland has a chance to rise up offensively, and as they have in the second half, they've not been able to make the plays.
Down the sideline, beautiful throw by Turner. And on 3rd down and long, he gets a first down to Torrey Smith.
Just not enough. You know, Nevada is a team that does not play a lot of too deep. They do not play a lot of, there's not a lot of times where that corner is up in the receiver's chest, getting a bump and playing the safety over the top. And you see there a corner that does not get enough pressure on that receiver. The safety can't get over the top. Not very sound technique there within the scheme defensively for Nevada.
Darrell Scott picks up 3 or 4 yards. And Brock, if I were at home watching the game as the non-football expert, the question I would want to ask you is, what is the responsibility of Uche Anyanwu, the safety, or the responsibility of Antoine Thompson, the corner? He kind of gave him a little bit of a shiver, but not much.
It's shared. They both have responsibility. That's the answer within that scheme. They don't do a lot of it. They play a lot of man-to-man, a lot of quarters coverage. And that is where the corner has to help the safety. He's got to get a push. He's got to get that receiver off of his route so he gives his safety a chance to cover up over the top.
Scott blasts through the secondary, and he'll go the distance. Darrell Scott, touchdown.
You know, the other thing, Bob, that corners have to do is not just bump receivers off in their routes. They have to tackle. And true freshman there, Isaiah Fry, number 32, wanted no part of a barreling down the gun Darrell Scott. You've got to make that tackle there. You are the last line of defense. That's why you've given up big play after big play after big play defensively. When you're the last line of defense, you better hang on for dear life. And Darrell Scott well over 1,000 yards on the season now.
Darrell Scott with a 49-yard touchdown run to give Maryland the lead. Maryland's other 3 touchdowns were all over 50-yard plays, so they have been a big play team today. A beautiful night here in Boise, and a great Rhodes Humanitarian Bowl. Back and forth we go. During Capital One Bowl week, Maryland now has retaken the lead by a touchdown, 35-28 over Nevada. And Darrell Scott, one of the group of 7 players for Maryland that broke curfew last night and were suspended for the start of today's game. Ralph Regin and his assistant coaches have filtered those 7 players back into the game from time to time. Darrell Scott did not play the entire first half and the majority of the 3rd quarter, but he plays a big part now, giving his team the lead. Fragger from about the 5. And he's popped at the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for Nevada at their own 28-yard line. Tawa stretched out, stiff arms a man, and is able to pick up about 5 yards. It's a strong run by Tawa. Chris Ault's team finds themselves behind once again, but 30 second-half comebacks, including 5 this season for Nevada. And they had a huge second-half comeback against Louisiana Tech in the final game of the regular season to pull one out. I think they were down 31-14 in that game and came back to win. Kaepernick finds Marco Mitchell. 1st down to midfield.
And again, just a similar story here from Colin Kaepernick in this 4th quarter. He's reading, he's reacting, he's getting the ball out of his hand, he's trusting his receivers down the field. You gotta like Marco Mitchell as a target. They're a little awkward to the left. That's not easy when you've got a gimpy ankle. It's not easy when you're fully healthy. And Marco Mitchell playing his final game for the Wolfpack, coming alive in this 4th quarter.
Tawa. 6 more yards. The ebb and flow of this game has been interesting. A ton of points scored in the 1st half. Basically nothing scored in the 3rd quarter. The two offenses basically went to sleep. And now in the 4th quarter, an offensive explosion by both sides again.
And it's been turnovers, and it's been big plays. I mean, that's really been the story, and it's been the storyline for these 2 teams all season long. An area struggled, giving the ball away for Maryland, and defensively for Nevada, just not being able to contain the explosive play.
Play action for Kaepernick on 2nd down. Fires one to the sideline to McCoy. Out of bounds at the Maryland 32.
You know, there are times, Bob, and I remember a game we did earlier this season where we had a quarterback that got a little bit nicked up with a shoulder injury. And I told you, I said, you better be careful with what you wish for defensively. Because after they've hurt Colin Kaepernick, you can see he's no longer thinking. All he's thinking about is overcoming this pain. And he is reading, he is reacting. He's not thinking about where should I throw it, how should I throw it, when should I throw it. He's thinking of how do I survive, how do I get through this pain. And you just see the natural playmaking ability really come out.
No gain on 1st down for Tawa. Jeremy Navarre set the edge. And for Maryland, the way that they played defensively, sometimes a 4-3, sometimes a 3-4. When a team floats back and forth from system to system or scheme to scheme, how hard is it for an offensive line to deal with?
It depends what kind of leadership you have, what kind of football IQ you have. And when you have Dominic Green in the middle of your line, a guy that's played a lot of football, 42 career starts, it really becomes a matter of identification. And really, as this game wears on, you start to get a little feel for what they're doing. I don't think that's been the issue or been an issue today for Nevada.
Kaepernick floats one down the sideline. Oh, he threw it behind Mitchell. And Mitchell had a step on Nolan Carroll.
Colin Kaepernick is going to be awfully sore tomorrow morning. Here you see Moses Foku, the leading sack leader for the Terrapins, and that's just another body blow. That is another shot on a quarterback. It was an emphasis coming into this game. It's what they wanted to do to Colin. He's a little slight. He's about 215 pounds. And they wanted to see how he would handle all of these hits. I'd say in the 2nd half, he's handled it pretty darn well.
Here comes the blitz. A draw on 3rd down and 11. And Tawa can't escape Navarre. He lost a yard. Well, this was after the last play. Adrian Moten goes over to try and help up the quarterback and then pulls his hand back. There's a little salt in the wound.
Actually, I think that was Moses Foku who just delivered the blow.
Well, Foku delivered the blow, but Moten...
Come on, Adrian, help him up. You've hit him enough today, haven't you?
4th and 12, and Nevada's going to go for it. This is an interesting decision at the 34-yard line on 4th and 12. Incomplete. The Wolfpack turns it over on downs. Virgil Green, the tight end, was the intended receiver. How about that decision?
Well, a little of that decision is what you asked Chris Alt yesterday. How many times, because of the way you've played defense this year, have you gone for it in 3rd and 4th down situations more than you would like to? And he said definitely it's played a role. And I think that 4th down and 12 call because of the defense they're playing for Nevada.
Here in Boise, it has been an entertaining game between Nevada and Maryland. The Rhodes Humanitarian Bowl approaching the midway point of the 4th quarter. Nevada has the ball, and they've got the touchdown lead. Darrell Scott for 12 yards and a first down for the Terrapins, and Scott, I think, is hurt. Darrell Scott very slow to get up. Trying to walk it off. First down at the 45-yard line, though, for Nevada. Or for Maryland, pardon me. Ralph Friedgen's team trying to protect the 7-point lead and trying to take advantage of the field position that the Wolfpack just gave them. Chris Alt opting not to punt to try a long field goal, going for it on 4th and 12. Scott busts into the secondary, stays on his feet all the way down to the 31-yard line of Nevada. Well, Darrell Scott has been an impact player here in the second half, Brock.
120 yards now. Not bad. You said he was fresh. I think he's been more than fresh. I think he's been awfully hungry. Again, we talked about Colin Kaepernick watching his backup come into the game. It kind of brought some life to him. Darrell Scott watching the younger guys make plays. Now he wanted his opportunity, and he's making the most of it.
Gets another chance here. Turns the corner. Scott to the 20. Knocked out of bounds inside the 5.
Darrell Scott again to the sideline.
Boy, Darrell Scott's stat line at the end of the game is going to look like he played every snap of the football game.
And he's got a chance now to get up over 1,100 yards. We were wondering if he was going to hit that 1,000-yard plateau. He's far surpassed 1,000 yards. He's getting up to 1,100. And how about the guys up front? Certainly he's getting these yards. He's hitting that hole. He's explosive. But I think what you're seeing more than anything, these 330-plus pound Terrapins really start to wear down an undersized Nevada front.
Scott again. An easy touchdown for Maryland. And it's a 2-score lead midway through the 4th.
There you see Jamie Thomas. He's playing his final game. 6'4", 330-pounder Edwin Williams, strong, physical, playing his final game. And Darrell Scott simply getting behind those big guys who are pushing the pile. Even a hug from Coach Friedgen there.
The point after, tacked on by Egekeza. And it's a 14-point lead with 7:44 to go. Darrell Scott with 2 touchdowns in the second half after not playing the first half because of a suspension for curfew violation. He's made an impact. Tom Bratton, the offensive line coach, and that group of road graders for the Maryland Terrapins just retook control of the game. 42-28. It must be fun sometimes to block for a back like Darrell Scott.
The coaching staff told us, you give him a lane, and he is as good as anybody in the country. He is growing when he's got to make that one defender miss. He's got a lot of growth yet when there's no hole there, and he's got to make something out of nothing. But his offensive line has given him plenty of room in this second half. And you see a very explosive Darrell Scott take advantage. Great shot there. Some of the numbers, see that talked about throughout this game, some of the scoring deficiencies they've had this season. Just 28 touchdowns this season, 6 today.
Brandon Frager from the 8. Out to the 29-yard line. 4 minutes to go. No timeouts for Nevada. They're down by 2 scores. McCoy makes a tough catch. And he gets out of bounds at the 34-yard line. All right, Reese, we still have 3 minutes and 47 seconds left Kaepernick to the sideline again. Trying to climb the ladder was Art King. And that'll stop the clock with 3:38 remaining. Trophy handlers await the winner. The Roadies Humanitarian Bowl has produced some very entertaining games. We went back and forth, 3 ties, 4 different lead changes earlier. Chris Ault trying to manufacture a comeback in the last 3.5 minutes. Kaepernick again looks for the home run ball down the sideline, hits his man in stride. And Art King drops the ball. Could you have drawn it up any better for Nevada?
What a nice little wrinkle that they did drop. He's the middle receiver here. You're going to see he's just going to run a wheel route. Good speed. You see the threat that Marco Mitchell is. He affects the downfield coverage. Great throw, great execution. You just got to finish. Catch that ball first. Art King's eyes were down the field. He sensed touchdown. You got to catch that ball first. And you see there a lack of efficiency when you drop the ball 6 times.
3rd and 10. King gets another chance. Gets popped and this time holds onto the ball. It's a 1st down. And King is shaken up.
Gain of 18 yards for the Wolfpack. 3:25 to go in the game.
A much more difficult catch. In traffic, taking the blow. The resiliency of the young redshirt, not so young, redshirt junior Art King going up, making the play, responding after the adversity in the drop. And Jeff Allen delivering the blow.
Inside of 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Kaepernick climbing the ladder is Marco Mitchell. It's another 1st down and a gain of 13.
Well, those scouts were here to see Darrius Heywood Bey. They love his speed and his size. But I got to tell you what, I think today Marco Mitchell has outplayed Darrius Heywood Bey. Look at the reach there. Look at the hands extending for the high ball. Marco Mitchell having a career type of day in his final game for Nevada.
Kaepernick again looks for a big play and finds McCoy. 1st down to the 15-yard line. A gain of 19 more yards in front of Nolan Carroll. Well, now they're within striking distance for touchdown number 1. They need 2. No timeouts left for the Wolfpack.
And Maryland not just playing prevent defense. They've been bringing zone blitzes. They brought a corner blitz on Marco Mitchell's catch. They've got to find a way here to slow down Nevada in the red zone.
Here comes the blitz again. Again, it's picked up. Kaepernick to the end zone. Incomplete. Threw it to that back shoulder of Marco Mitchell. .231 remaining. Again, with no timeouts for Nevada, do you feel like you have to take shots at the end zone from here, or can you still throw an intermediate route? So now it's 3rd down. Kaepernick will tuck it under and run. Touchdown. And Nevada is very much alive with 2:19 to go.
Don't you just like the guts of Colin Kaepernick to rebound today? You saw the statistics up there, 370 yards passing, a humanitarian bowl record, up near 400 yards of total offense. He does a great job there of recognizing the defenders turning their back to him. They played some man zone principle there where the underneath defenders, you can see here in the all-22, You see the press coverage, the two deep safeties are playing zone behind. But anytime you see the press coverage, and now those backs turn to you, and you are a running quarterback, those eyes are not on you, gives you a great opportunity to use your feet and score. One of the rare times we've seen today that coverage.
So now with no timeouts left, Nevada is compelled to go for the onside kick to keep it alive for Nevada. And a charity hop, it couldn't have gotten easier for Maryland.
You know, had they scored early, Bob, had they scored at that 2:45 mark, they would have had a chance without the timeouts to possibly get the ball back. But in this case, with 2:14 left, Maryland now just running this clock out. You see Chris Alt take his headsets off. Too little, too late.
And there's today's player of the game, brought to you by Capital One, Darrius Scott. 153 yards. A couple of scores in the second half. Maryland deliberately breaks the huddle with the play clock at 7, taking as much time off the game clock as they can. Scott again. Breaks it free. Down to the 20-yard line. And now the Terrapins can take a knee.
Wow, that's a lot of Gatorade, isn't it?
And a cold day.
Do we have 2 or do we have 3? I see 2.
This is not the day that Ralph Friedgen wants to get wet. There goes the bucket, and Ralph Friedgen. Now, at least he's got a smile on his face. Ralph Friedgen, at least during his career, about to improve to 4-2 in the 6 bowl games as the head coach at Maryland.
And a good win for the ACC today, Bob. A win that you felt like if Maryland could control the line of scrimmage, if they could use their bigger physical guys up front and control the clock, they'd have a great chance to win. And really in the second half, Darrius Scott, those big guys up front, Darrell's the player of the game. But you better give half of that football and that award to the guys up front because they really controlled Nevada in the second half.
And Darrius Scott, one of those 7 players that violated curfew last night and was suspended at least for the start of the game by Ralph Friedgen. A big second half, and Maryland wins it 42-35 over Nevada. For Brock Ewart and Heather Cox, I'm Bob Wischusen saying so long from Boise in the Roadies Humanitarian Bowl. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.